Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of From the Root to the Fruit. I'm your host, Jay Smith. Today's guest is a family member of mine and also an entrepreneur. Prides herself on her position and just living out loud and being gay and enjoying herself and her life. Also, one of the top chefs in the state of North Carolina. And I don't even want to take up any more of your time talking to me. Let's get right into it with Ellesha Wellman. With no further ado, how you been? How you been?
I've been great. How about you?
I told you now. My wife won't let me complain. That ain't how it goes around here. But the boss say keep your mouth shut. That's what it is. We got to
Yeah,
keep working. We got
I
to
really
get
been
better.
living the dream though. I've been living the dream for real.
I see you. I see how you're moving. I told you. I cannot be more proud, and we're going to get into all that.
Right.
Obviously, you are highlighted in these pictures behind me. We
That's
we
me.
we
That's little
we
me
we
right
we for real it from the cradle.
there. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me things. Obviously, that some of the things that right, like I am privy to, but only in my way, right? Like
Right.
you as an observer, what was it like for you, kind of growing up and everything like that, and some of your experiences that you're willing to share.
So growing up was good. However, you and I both lost our mothers at young ages.
Right.
So the odds were against us. We would say. However, looking at us now, we both overcome that. But growing up was it was okay, but like I said, it was hard.
Right.
To lose a parent at 7 years old to sickle cell and you don't understand any of what's going on. So that part was kind of hard. My dad stepped in and was able to take me in, and my stepmother stepped up and everything. So life was not hard per se. However, early on, I didn't understand why my mom wasn't here. At 7 years old, you just think, oh, she doesn't want me, or you don't understand death at that point.
Right.
So that was kind of hard to deal with. However, we're here now. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to take a little break there. What was that? Was there a big transition for you? Obviously, not having your mother out of the picture for obviously extenuating circumstances,
right.
uh, but your dad, to your point, stepped in, took over all those hats, and your stepmom Frida
Yeah.
as well, and like what was that on a day-to-day basis, kind of going to school and those kinds of things.
It was kind of hard to get used to at first, like I said. But getting into it, if you think about it, I was just full of aggression and anger and hurt. So
What? That's what? I don't.
so
I don't
so
know
coming
about
up,
it.
I was just angry. I stayed getting kicked out of school. Like I said, my parents did raise me right. However, I chose to go a different route at first, and I'm still full of rage for what I don't know, but I kind of contain it a little bit now.
You did, yeah. Well, it still pays rent. It still pays rent in
Yeah,
here. I don't, I mean, yeah.
yeah. But I keep it contained now. But just growing up, it was just like I said, I was just full of rage and anger, and still to this day, I couldn't tell you why. Yeah, I had counseling sessions and everything, but I didn't want to talk to them people. They don't
Right.
they don't know my struggles. So
You dig that? Well. Now tell the truth, shame the devil. And that's a part of the culture, right? Like if for people of color, the upbringing that we had, especially, there just was not a lot of how do you feel. There wasn't a
right,
lot of like space for that. Like we got to get the job done, whether it's
right,
school, picking up a part-time job, whatever the case may be. Like the expectation is results,
right,
not the well how you feel about the results.
right. Yeah. And we grew up. Our grandfather was a minister, a pastor. So, you know, Reverend Francis Lee Smith.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
I got a couple of old report cards my kids took a look at, and they're like, Dad, you made really good grades, but why do the teachers keep having all these comments? Like, I got paragraphs of things that need to be worked on.
Right.
I'm like, well, I haven't always been a husband and a dad, and like, so it's
Right.
but what was one of those things, like, to your point, like everything wasn't for you internally. You had a struggle that you fought with. Now, was that always kind of spilling over until you kind of reined that in, or at least aimed it into what would become your profession later on in life?
Food actually saved me. I put my anger and passion and aggressiveness into food. Okay. And a lot of people take it as me being competitive. I'm really not competing with anyone but myself.
Right.
So I just try to be better and make, any dish I make, I'm gonna make it better the next time. It's never gonna be bad. It's gonna be better. So I take all that focus and, like I say, anger and hostility and everything else, and I put it into my dishes. So I try to just reel that in and put it to something good, so to speak, instead of getting in trouble.
And I'm absolutely, hey, I'm with you. As you can see, I'm with you. And to your point, and I'm gonna put a link in the bio once we finish up and everything like that for all of your stuff. Like, I'm a observer on the outside, like looking at some of the dishes you make and everything like that. And right. I'm not going, ain't no shame in my game. I've licked my phone screen at least twice just to see if I had the smells could come through, or there right. could be something that I could be a part of. Like I've never, and I've been around food a whole long time, I've never seen anybody put out dishes that look like the stuff that you put out.
Thank you.
Now, where did the love for food kind of come from? Like, you made a statement that it saved your life. Like, was it you just tinkering, or was there some type of mentorship or internship involved? What took place there?
So I started messing around with food, I would say, when I was in middle school. Both of my parents worked. My father and my stepmother both worked until about 5 or 6 o'clock every day. So I started watching my father, who can really cook. He can really cook. I wish he would focus some of his energy into cooking or doing something other than what he's doing. But,
Well, sweet Jesus. Well.
But I would watch him and ask questions and stuff like that. And then I started just taking it upon myself to have dinner ready when they got home.
Right.
I messed up a couple dishes. I was a young child. So, they would tell me, hey, pork chops, you don't have to cook as long as chicken, or, different little things like that. But so I just would start having dinner cooked. So some of the energy I would have in school, getting in trouble, I would save it for after school and put into what I was doing after school, as far as cooking and doing stuff like that. So,
Nice. Now, and the question for even for me, are you classically trained, or is it like once you develop that skill, right? Like right. It's time on task after that. Like right. what makes your cooking style so unique? Because, like I said, I've never seen anything like it. And we've right. gone everywhere. I can cook a little bit. I make a mean peanut butter and jelly now.
Right. Don't. So I've never been to a culinary school. However, I've worked with tens of thousands of chefs, and I was working at Ruby Tuesdays, and my kitchen manager, he's a trained chef, really great, Brad Moore. I told him, I said, I'm thinking about going to culinary school. He said, let me tell you something right now. You do not need culinary school. He said, all they can teach you is how to do different cuts and stuff like that. He said, but you have the gift. And from that day, I said, that's something that I need to be doing. So I kind of focused on that. And I don't write recipes. So if I make something, like I was saying earlier, it's never going to be bad, but it's not going to be the same as it was. Yeah, okay. I can remember, I put a tablespoon of butter or a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning or something like that, but I try to do stuff different each time. And I don't follow other people's recipes either, because I always have something different that I want to incorporate and just do my own thing. So
Okay, is that like a? I guess my next question is more of a. Would you say that's you cook based off feel, so there is no style, right? Like, does
there's
that
no
make sense?
so if I'm in a good mood, I'm gonna cook this way, and if I'm not so much in a good mood, I'm gonna cook a different way. But it just depends. Like I say, I try to take however I'm feeling and put it into my dishes. So you know, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just whatever I'm feeling, that's what I'm gonna do. So if I want to put Cajun, if I want to do a Cajun mac and cheese that day, that's what I'm gonna do. That means I'm a little irritated. So if I want to do just a regular old grandma mac and cheese, you know what I'm saying? I'm in a good mood, you know.
Yeah,
So it just
I
depends on my mood.
that's bananas. But that now part of that is so unique, right? Like I kind of cook the same way,
Right.
right? Like but it's more of a like a rough sketch, not to your level at all, but
Right.
it's more to like a rough sketch. Like I'll get like a peach cobbler or something. If I make it, the it doesn't taste the same every time because I'm tinkering with the ingredients,
Right.
like the pie crust and like I'm tinkering with it to see if I can perfect it for me. Like it's
Right.
a me thing, not necessarily whoever eats it.
Right.
Well,
Definitely.
that's great. That's dope. I like that. The I really want to talk about and again, this is out of the culture and I'll put it on wax. I vehemently owe you an apology, just in general. Like we, especially with all the social justice stuff and everything else, like it does get lost that women, men of color that are gay, trans, lesbian, I forgive me on the pronouns. I'm trying to educate myself, but it's a part of it, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm man enough to tell you that I don't know, but I want to know because I don't want you to feel like as a member of my family, as a
Right.
person that I care about, that I don't see you. Like in the middle of me trying to help everybody else or be there for everybody else, that I didn't see your pain, that I didn't hear what you had to say. So I owe you an apology for that. And I think it's more than well deserved. And you have my sincerest version of that. I am sorry.
And I accept your apology. But I don't feel like you've ever said anything or posted anything against.
Oh
Uh,
no. But let's not get it twisted. I don't believe that because you didn't say it
right.
doesn't mean that you agree with it. Does that make sense? Like me
Right.
not saying something didn't come to your aid when you may have been going through some go through or whatever. Like my silence, no different than the wrongful killing of unarmed black people
Right.
at an alarming rate. Me not saying anything is just as bad, if not worse,
Right.
than you know what I'm saying. Like that's how I feel about it. That's the hat in hand moment for me.
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, coming up, our grandfather was a pastor. My stepmom had me into church, and all kinds of stuff like that. So it I wouldn't say that I'm I'm an open book. I've always been like that, and I'm pretty much say what I want to say, and you know, and leave it at that. But um, so coming out the closet and stuff like that was not hard for me per se.
Okay.
I kind of just said, you know, this is what I'm doing, you know, and just roll with it. But coming up, I kind of knew early on that I wasn't into guys. But growing up how we grew up, you kind of just gotta, you know, put on a front. Not really a front, but it's just
Well, you gotta tuck that in.
right.
Like you know what
Yeah,
like I don't mean it, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
yeah,
trying to be offensive. I'm just saying it on the other side of it. Like I cannot name you, and there may be more, right? Like even in
right,
our personal family, like I
right,
can't name you somebody with an alternative lifestyle. Like I
right,
right, like that just wasn't like be yourself.
right.
Wasn't the top of the sheet
No,
coming up in the Ville. Like that just wasn't what it
yeah.
was.
So you kind of have to like push that down a little bit, not really for yourself, but for others. You know,
Right.
you have to protect other people's feelings. And I was within a group called the Pride Show a while back, and one of the topics was, you know, coming out and how hard it was for people. And I try to tell a few of the females in the group that it took us time to come out. It took us time to get right with ourselves in order to say publicly, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm a lesbian female. And so when we tell our families and our parents and our just family in general and our friends, we have to give them time to process it too, because it's something new for them as well as ourselves. So we have to give people time to process and it's 2020 now. So, it's a little more accepting. However, we still struggle,
Right. And I heard that I had another family member on the podcast from my wife's side of the family. And she made mention of the same thing. Like she and her partner did not get married until I think 7.5 years ago, when it became legal for them to do so. Like, as to your point, as far as it's come, there's so much further to travel.
Go. Oh yes. And we waited till after it was legal for us to get married as well. And I always told my wife, when we get married, we're getting married in the middle of downtown Winston-Salem, just to piss people off. And that's what we did. We actually blocked traffic at one point for one of our pictures, just to do in the middle of downtown Winston. We got married at the Marriott downtown Winston. And, we did exactly what we said we would do. And it was just so that people can just let people live. Somebody might not like the same things that I like or do the same things that I do, but I cannot judge them for what they choose to do, and
that's a part of it. Like, at what point, right? Like, I feel like I should be the Constitution, all these pieces of paper that notwithstanding, if everything is equal, then my neighbor should be able to do what he wants to do without obviously impinging or interfering with my life or what have you. Then I guess I'm ignorant on the other side. Like, why did this take so long? Obviously, I understand that everybody's not accepting. Like, I live in the world as well. But if it's not bothering you or impeding on your opportunity to get that American dream or whatever it is that you're chasing, then I'm trying to, I guess, bring more people to the table to, well, why the hell can't you do what you want to do? If I can, if you know what I'm saying? Like, what are some of the things? I'm not in those rooms. So what are some of the things that you guys talk about as far as, like, what's next, allyship and these kinds of things?
Right. Well, believe it or not, here in Winston, North Carolina, period, we have a lot of allies. I have a lot of friends that support, they support no matter what. And it's not because they're just trying to be, how you have fake people that are like, oh yeah, we support you, and then behind closed doors, they really don't. But genuine people that support everything that you do, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I just don't understand. We had, matter of fact, while we're talking about this, we had an incident happen in Winston-Salem 2 weeks ago. There was a lesbian couple. They reached out to a place called the Ivy Warehouse, the warehouse on Ivy in Winston, to have their wedding there. At the end of the email, this is all public, it was on WXI and everything, but at the end of the email, the lady stated, she never said same-sex marriage or anything prior to the end, when she said, the other bride will be contacting you as well. This is her name, just to let them know, this is the same group of people.
Right.
The business responded back and said that that they do not support same-sex marriages, and they do not have same-sex marriages at that location.
Wow.
I'm a business owner, so I reserve the right to work with whoever I want to work with.
Right. Like, which, yes, and get to the which line is the appropriate one. Right.
So a while back, I don't support Trump. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, can you come do this? Trump was in Winston, and they wanted me to come set up the food truck.
Right.
The only reason I did not go was because I had to work or I had something going on that day. If I didn't have that, I would have went, because at the end of the day, when you're in business to make money and to get to the next level. So though I do not support Trump, I would have went and set up my truck there. But that does not say that I support him. That
Right.
says that I'm going to handle business, so to speak. So with the warehouse on Ivy, I just feel like they could have worded it different. They could have even said, we're booked that day.
Right.
Anything. But to be blatant, just to be blatantly discriminating against same-sex marriages or whatever, is just ridiculous. It's 2020, like, grow up. You're in business, be in business.
Well, and that brings me right, like, even to expound on this particular topic, I always want to know, is it a principle or a preference?
Right.
Like, if it's one of my core principles, then I'm sorry, whatever it is, right? Like, it just happens to be this. But
right.
If it's a preference, I prefer that not to be around me. That's extraordinarily different.
Right.
I'm trying to, and for those that are watching and trying to get better, because if you're not trying to get better, you're already got one foot in the grave, in my opinion. Right. What actions or steps, because we are from the Bible Belt,
right?
Even having those conversations are awkward. Even right. Like it's just like, well, wait, what do you mean? But I've always taken the traditional teachings as love everyone, like love thy neighbor, not right. look in on your neighbor and judge them and figure out what they're doing that they shouldn't be doing or whatever. Right. Like which one is it? Like right. What I guess is what I like. What would you say to these people? I mean, obviously there's some expletives I would throw, like, if, you know, yeah. My wife's working on me. That's why I go to church. What? Because that has to be right, like a challenge amongst all the other challenges, like that doesn't actually need to be there. What would be your advice?
My advice would be, don't look at people for what you see on the outside. Right. So you see me and my wife, two females together. Don't look at that. We love each other, genuinely love each other. And we shouldn't be judged off of that. You know, the Bible, okay, so we're going to talk about the Bible. The Bible says, don't eat shellfish. Don't do this, don't do that, and all this, but that we don't pick and choose what you're going to take right. from the word. If you're going to take the word, take it all. Right. Don't pick and choose what you're going to, what you're going to.
But that's a part of what we deal with. No, like if it, here's what I think. Right. And I am not the end all be all, trust me, about anything. Right. other than the topic specifically about me. I am right. the end all be all for that. But the overall thing is people read and take away what benefits them, not what challenges them. Right. You're right. So if you feel like the old adage, or what, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. If you feel that way, why are you trying to hang out with Steve too? Like, right. What you dig? Like which one is it?
Let us know now.
That's right. Like I mean, he ain't right. I'm wrong for that. I'm sorry, I'm wrong for that. But I'm serious though. Yeah. Like, at what point are you interested in that person and you fighting what you feeling versus right. you being comfortable with another person? Just to your point, just loving whoever they want to love and doing whatever they want to do. Right. What's the problem? And
one thing I hate, I hear guys say it all the time, is that, oh, two women are okay, but two guys, oh no, that's nasty. What is the? I mean, that makes absolutely no.
I've said that. I'm not.
You said it.
Sorry. Shit, yep. Shout out to my queen. She's working on me. Shout out. Yep, that was me. Yep.
Yeah. But you also have not. I don't think we have any on our side of the family. I don't think we have anybody, any gay males in our family. So, right. You don't know what you don't understand. So if, say, we had a gay male in our family that we could sit down and talk to, then you might understand,
Well, that be the next thing, right? Like, and I truly believe that exposure leads
Right.
to expansion. So whatever
Right.
that you can come in contact with that's different will
Right.
push you or challenge you to now think about things in a wider base.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah. See, I mean, the more you know, the more tools you have in your box, and hopefully you can become a better version of yourself.
Of yourself. Yeah. I got into a debate the other day with one of my coworkers. She said that some people aren't afforded the same opportunities. None of us are afforded the same opportunities as the next. However, it's what you do with what you have that makes the difference.
Right.
So, I have, like we talked about it earlier. I have not always been a good person. I got 3 pages of criminal record downtown Winston-Salem, and I turned that into something else. Found my soulmate. Now we bought our first home. We own our own business. We own our business. We don't owe anybody anything. My stepmom made sure of that before she passed away, but we own our business, and it's just, I could have went downhill from the beginning and kept
Yes.
going downhill, but you got to take that slope and try to do something different with yourself.
Well, that brings me to obviously my next question is what was the thing that caused that pivot, right? Like, and we, as much as we haven't like hung out and spent time together, right, we sound a hell of a lot the same. So
right.
minus like through the grace prayer, whatever.
Right.
I've never been arrested or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like it. So not saying I shouldn't have been.
Right.
not I'm not a revisionist history buff over here. I'm not
right.
saying I shouldn't have been, but I have never been. So what was the thing that made you say, you know what, enough's enough, let me go this way?
So the people around me, do I want to embarrass them, or do I want to make them proud? So, after years of embarrassing my stepmom and my dad and my family and friends, now do I want to continue doing that, continue going down that bad road, or do I want to put all this whatever it is into doing good? And then better things started happening for me, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the good stuff. Taking a ride in a police car is not, a thing you want to do. So
it's not. I don't even like those Crown Vics that they used to do.
But yeah, it's just, I just wanted to make people proud instead of embarrassment, So
I love that. The that I think is a better, that takes the most work, right? Like if you're already on the right path, well, just keep doing what you're doing. Like that,
right.
It's fairly simple, right? In that aspect, I think the best stories are when you weren't always doing the right thing, when you were screwing it up, and you just made a conscious decision that that's not going to be the way it goes. Like I'm going to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
So what transferred you from going, kind of just going about it and cooking and the love for cooking and everything like that, to now so trucking hungry and you, to your point, you're taking on events and people are coming to you, like you are it, like you the show.
Right.
What was that's obviously like a transformation. It's seriously cool. What led to that? What were some of the steps? Like, it obviously didn't happen overnight, but
no.
what were some of the, this job kind of catapulted me over here? What was some of that?
I would say I started just, I would be at work, and I've worked in restaurants for years, and I would be at work, and people would come up, hey, can you make me such and such? Now this is not on the menu, this is stuff outside of the menu that they want me to make. So yeah, I'm making the stuff, and then it got to be, okay, 1 or 2 people, and then, all right, 10 people want me to make their lunch and make something different, So then I said, you know what? I about 8 years ago, I said I want a food truck, and I didn't have the money to buy a food truck. So I told everybody, yeah, I want to own a food truck. Got a business plan and everything done, and was headed, to the financial institutes to, get a loan and all this stuff. And then my stepmom got diagnosed with cancer, and so then, I kind of backed off a little bit, focused on that, and she knew what I wanted to do. So, fast forward to, she passed. Her sister called me and said, hey, start looking for you a food truck. She left you money to start a food truck. So I say that all that because you may not have the finances to do something at that time, but if you have enough passion into what you're doing, and people are watching you and you're telling them what you want to do, somebody will bless you. So I was blessed to receive the money to start this food truck and stuff like that. But I would just say my wife is probably one of the reasons why I changed into what I am today, because she caught me at the end of my rough stage, so to speak. And she's not that type of person. She's in the school, and works and just all around great person. And, I kind of just was like, okay, do I want to embarrass this lady, or do I want to make her proud to be my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, but, now my wife. But so I just a lot of different things pushed me to do something different. And like I said, I did not have the financial backing to do any of what I'm doing now. Someone blessed me, and I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. I could have took that money and went and bought a Mercedes or something like that, cash money.
I've seen people. I've seen
Yeah.
yes.
But I actually did what I was supposed to do with the money. So
well, that kind of speaks to, right, like that foundation, that wanting to do, like, I was raised correctly. I know what the ingredients are. Like that speaks to that. The transition for whether it be going down the wrong path, stopping, blazing a completely different path, to your stepmother, her untimely passing, and her she was already believing in you, like,
right.
even right, like seeing, and that seems like a theme, right, like seeing who you could be versus who you actually are right now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I will say, without Frida Thompson, that's my stepmom, and I say stepmom, but her and my father were never married.
Oh,
however,
okay.
Yeah, but however, on her deathbed, they actually told us she wouldn't make it through the night. The next day, Miranda and I, my wife, go back up to the hospital. She's sitting up in the bed. What are y'all doing? Just normal. And she said, I stayed with your father to make sure that you had a good life. And that just touched me. So without her, I don't know where I might not be sitting here telling you, having this conversation with you right now, because she tried her best, and those times I did not listen. Now looking back at it, it's like, she only wanted the best. So without her, who knows where I would be.
Well, that right, like even stories like that, like I believe in angels already, but that how do you not, like, right, like you have a situation where it seems as though you can't win,
right,
and then out of nowhere you do. So what, right, like, I mean, man, I don't even know what to say right there. I feel like that speaks for itself.
Right, definitely.
So as far as like your own, right, like your dad and everything like that, like you said that you never really, and I know you, so I get it. I'm the same way. Like, yeah. I feel like we're a lot alike. Right. It doesn't matter what they thought anyway. But what was that accepting, like when you came out and everything, and this is kind of how it is. Was that were you wrapped in love? Was that a challenge? What was that like for? You can't speak for them, but what was your vibe from them?
When I knew my stepmom would be accepting of it because she had a sister that was lesbian as
Okay.
well, but she passed away some years back. But and then my dad, he's kind of like he just goes with anything, whatever as long as you healthy, he's fine.
Yep.
So I told them, I said, we just were having just a random conversation, and I said, so I'm in the females now, and we kind of laughed, and they weren't mad, or they weren't that was not an embarrassment for them, so they kind of wrapped me in love as far as that part. They then told me that females couldn't spend the night at the house anymore. Now I was in high school when I came out.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, you got it. Yeah, you ain't gonna get you can get all the plates and everything. You can't have it all.
So I was kind of mad at myself for telling so quick because, then I wanted the ladies to still spend the night at the house, But yeah, so that was the end of that.
Oh man. What you guys got married in Winston, and one of the it's accepted in pockets, but not overarching. Are there any spaces where you feel uncomfortable or anything like that? Like I know, I guess I can liken it to when my wife and I or the kids or the family we visit down south or whatever, like I'm always aware. Like it ain't there's never an issue.
Right.
But I always have a level of awareness just in case.
Yeah. I have never been uncomfortable anywhere. I don't know if, a lot of people get gay bashed and people say stuff to them, while they're out and about. I have never had that happen. I guess they can kind of look at me and can kind of tell I'm not going to put up with the bullshit. So,
well, if there's a such thing as auras, right? Like I had one of my really close friends was on here talking about your chakras and everything else.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see me, but I know you see my chakra. So
yeah. So they kind of just, I've had friends that really get gay bashed and different things like that. But pretty much around the Winston-Salem area is all I can speak for. Normally, the straight and the gay community, we can be around each other and there's no issues. Now, when the other thing with that is, if we respect people, if the LGBT community respects people, people will respect us. Now, you can't be at a straight club, and I've had guys do it. I've saw them. I've seen them. I witnessed it. Them they will try to come on to straight guys and stuff like that, or let me buy you a drink or whatever. But at the same time, if they're respecting you, respect them.
Especially with something like with something that's in its acceptance, equality,
right,
and just leading with love should never be in its beginning stages. But we seemed as though, right, to your point, 2020, that's a lot the way that it is. Yeah, if you're in a situation and both parties don't already know, I think that's just a bad deal. Like that could go wrong more ways than it can go right.
And even with the trans community, this is not really a new thing, but it's new to the public.
Right.
Transgender people were not. A lot of people didn't know about the transgender community until recently.
Right.
So I have trans friends both that have went from male to female and female to male. And I think, and I've told them the same thing. If you are out dating or at the club or something like that, let people know, because it can go bad later on.
Yep.
So
because if you think you're talking to Molly and it's Steve, it's gonna go down. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go down.
Yeah. Now I got some friends that have they'll fool you. And
well,
they have
I've
whole,
seen some of the and on your social media and what have
yeah.
you. I'm like, wait, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't
Right.
have known.
Yeah. You know, yeah. And it's a difference. People a lot of times think that drag queens, they associate drag queens with transgender people. That's two different things. Drag queens are
Okay, yeah. Well,
yeah,
now you're educating me because
yeah,
I didn't know that either.
yeah,
I thought those were right, like on the same path.
yeah. Well, no, not necessarily, because you have gay men that like to dress up and do the perform and stuff like that.
Okay,
But at the end of the day, they're still a gay male.
I'm with you.
Transgender people, they have always, well, not always, but for most of their life, they've thought that they were the opposite sex. So they take the steps to go to do that. I have a friend
Okay.
I have friends that have fully transitioned. So they're technically a female. Now, for them, I wouldn't say that they would have to disclose that because technically they are a female.
They're going, okay, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with
You
you.
know, they have from head to toe female.
Well, I was about to say you got
Yeah.
two grocery stores now. If you ain't if you got to make sure. Yeah, if you got the same ingredients in your sections as everybody else, then it should be
Then you
fine.
consider, yeah. So yeah,
Right.
they don't have to disclose it.
Now,
Because
do you feel like that's a? I guess it's each person's preference, right?
right.
Like, but if you have transitioned and now we'll just take Molly and Steve because that for whatever reason that's where I'm at. If Molly has decided to now become Steve, well, okay, if Steve marries Janet, does Steve now, is it like a moral whatever?
Yeah, I would think if you're going that far as getting married or you're in a long-term relationship, I would think you would want to disclose it. But technically, you don't have to. But I mean, anybody with a conscience would,
Ooh, you might catch some hands. You might catch some hands over that one. So where you're at right now, and even the community and everything else has definitely seemed to embrace you and welcome you with open arms. What were some of have there been any challenges to this? Obviously, the work itself notwithstanding, whether it be pushback from classically trained chefs that are now, you know what I mean, like you're fighting for the light, as it were. So
Right.
what was have there been any situations like that where you're like, well, this other chef across town is he's from France or whatever, like these other institutes and so forth. Anything like that?
So the classically trained chefs around here, I can say that I can pretty much stand in the arena with anyone. However, I'm not competitive when it comes to cooking. I will compete, but we got to have some money involved. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna
I
have
ain't
to
gonna,
have
I ain't gonna get off the couch for nothing. I ain't come out here to practice.
Yeah, I have fallen out with a few friends now because like I say, a lot of people cook in Winston, so I've fallen out with a few different people over the cooking thing because they think I'm competing with them, but what they don't understand, I have 3,000 Facebook friends, and I might see something come across my Facebook that I don't like, and I'm like, yeah, y'all tripping, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not talking to somebody specifically, and then I've gotten text messages from people saying, "Oh, you're talking about me," or I've got friends that I've known since high school that I don't even talk to anymore, because they felt like that I was copying them or doing a entree that they have done before. And what they don't understand is I am approved through the health department. So anything that I do, it has to go through them. When you apply for a permit, you submit your menu, and the health department told me whatever you think you will ever sell, put on your menu when you submit it to us. You don't have to sell it every day, but it has to be on the menu. That way, when they come do their check, I'm selling what I'm supposed to sell. So, you know, a lot of people that have not been permitted, they think that you're copying them or you're doing something to try to be like them. But at the end of the day, I can only do what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
You know, I cannot steer away from that menu. I don't want to lose my permit. So,
Well, what? Go ahead, because I really want to. I'm in. I really want to know because right, like especially in I don't know whether it's a culture thing, but if somebody sees you moving and doing what you're supposed to be doing, and now you're getting accolades, to your point, the health inspector deal, like all that stuff, like you're making sure that everything is taken care of. There's no stone unturned, like all the gaps are filled up. And some people just, you know, cooking out the back door, you know, giving away stuff, whatever. Like are you salty? Like, is that right? Like you doing it the right way, or like what does that feel like for you?
I just and like I said, I started off doing it a different way.
Right.
So now I'm on to, you know, doing everything the right way. So I understand, but I just want people to not always think that people are competing with them. This is a small city. I live in a small city, and it's money out here for everybody. Everyone in our city has to eat.
Yes.
It's like if you go down the road, it's a McDonald's, it's a Burger King, it's a Taco Bell, it's a Bojangles, all right there together. And everybody has a line. So we need to think about that as far as the chef stuff too. Everybody has to eat. I have a different clientele than the next person. And, you know, but a lot of the chefs, we all get along. We all hang out, have drinks, you know, everybody's cool. But then you have those couple people that they just don't want to sit at the table, I guess. I don't know. I'm at the table. Now, whether you want to sit at the table or not, that has nothing to do with me. You either pull your chair up or keep it the fuck moving.
Absolutely. That's what it's supposed to be. The what is your relationship with your wife kind of like? Like, if for obviously that might not necessarily be a public conversation, but is it like a tradition? Like, you guys just get along? Like, to your earlier point, you guys are two sides of the same coin.
Right. We actually get along very well. We've been together going on 13 years now. We get along very well. The only thing we argue about is where we're gonna eat, which that's crazy because I'm a chef, right? A self-proclaimed chef. So, you know, but yeah, we only argue about where to eat. And we have come a long way though. I would not say our whole relationship has been sunshine and rainbows, because it has not. Like I say, she caught me at the end of my getting my life together part, you know, before I switched over. So, you know, she's had in the beginning, we've fought, she's had restraining orders on me, and we've a little bit of everything, you know, you name it. Her family could not stand me. Right now I'm sitting in her mom's office talking to you. So, you know, her family is like, they're amazing. They had said, you know, they even accepted me back in after all the bullshit that I put them and their daughter through. So, you know, forgiveness is their big thing. So, our relationship is wonderful. Like I say, we own our own home. We have 2 little dogs. We hope to have a child coming up in the future. And, you know, it's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, I won't take up any more of your time. I know you have got to have something to cook and everything like that. Like I said, I enjoyed this one more than a bunch of them, but yeah. I genuinely appreciate you for coming on.
Right. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to meeting your family very soon.
Absolutely. Well, I got one that's just like his daddy. Lord have mercy. Well, this has been another episode of From the Root to the Fruit. I've been Jay Smith. That's Ellesha Wellman. You guys take care of each other. Everybody needs something. Until next time. Peace.
Love you, cuz.